I think it's important for people to understand that nobody can do it on their own. It takes an army to be successful, and you just have to make some good judgment calls, and you learn a lot on the way, right?
I think it's one of those misconceptions about entrepreneurship, and people see it online and they want to be an entrepreneur and they think it's this hero's journey that somebody makes on their own. Nothing could be further from the truth.
What's the old saying? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everything is a grind. There's no shortcut for the grind. People do business with people, and they do business with people they like. If they don't like you, but they're forced to do business, they will, because they need to. But as soon as they find somebody they like, they can do the same business, you're probably on your way out the door.
It's going to take a village. It's going to take a lot of people, but it's a magical place, man. Like downtown Bristol.
Find a way.
Allen Hurley, it is a pleasure to have you here today. You are a wealth of experience. You have done so many things in business, and I've kind of watched from the sideline. Our kids have been friends, but we've never really sat down and talked about all that you're doing. I just admire it. I've admired it from a distance, and just so happy to have you here and learn from all that you have learned over the years in building so many different kinds of businesses. That's what's impressive, man, the range.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on, Matt. We've just been blessed, to be honest with you. And when you put yourself around good people, good things tend to happen. So I think it's important for people to understand that nobody can do it on their own. It takes an army to be successful, and you just have to make some good judgment calls, and you learn a lot on the way, right?
I think it's one of those misconceptions about entrepreneurship, and people see it online and they want to be an entrepreneur and they think it's this hero's journey that somebody makes on their own. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Nothing further. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard. People think that, what they do a lot of times is they see where you're at today, but they never knew where you were yesterday. Yesterday was hard.
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations recently with like other business owners, and I tell them, man, they ask what I'm doing. I'm saying, man, I'm doing this and this and this, and every single one of those things is hard, and you can almost see the relief in their eyes, like because there's this illusion that it's easy for other people,
right?
And that because it's hard, they're doing something wrong. But man, everything is hard, right?
Everything is hard. What's the old saying? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
I think as an entrepreneur, you learn that's real, because everything is so hard. Everything is a grind. There's no shortcut for the grind.
Yeah.
As we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
There's no magic pill.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
I think people that looked at you from a distance and what you're doing now and so many different things would say, man, he makes it look really easy. But after all this stuff, it's still not.
Like it's not. We still work 60 hours a week. We grind it out on everything, and we try to differentiate ourselves from our competitors or other people that we may be in the same industry for the same principles and the same things we did in the beginning. You got an issue, you need to talk. It's 10 o'clock at night. You call, I'll take the call. It's a Saturday. You need to have a phone call. We'll take the call on Saturday. Oh, wait. You need to have a meeting. You need to come up. We still go do it. After all the things we've done, the success we've had, we still base our business on some of those very, very early principles that made us successful, and being humble and understanding that nothing was given to you. You worked hard for it, but you got to remember where you come from. And when you do that, you won't lose sight of those really important things, that when somebody calls, you take that call because it's important to them that you took that call.
Yeah, that's the grind we were talking about.
That's the grind.
Earlier. And I think I think social media has created this idea that the entrepreneur is standing in front of a private plane, spending all their time on the beach.
Right.
It's just not reality, right?
Success is inconvenient too. Right. Everybody thinks, hey, well, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to own this business, and I'll take off when I want. And I'll drive a brand new car, or I'll have a plane. It's just not that way, and it's inconvenient. It never fails. Whenever you're trying to take a vacation, I know you know this. You try to take a vacation, or you're trying to do something with your friends, and just so happens something comes that has to be done tomorrow, and it does. I mean, it's part of business, and so you have to make sacrifices to be successful.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, then you don't need to own or run a business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not what's in the brochure. And
No, they print a lot of stuff in that brochure that's not true.
but I think a lot of young people believe it,
Yeah.
right? Like they believe that this fictional life is possible, and they're disappointed when they're faced with the reality. But it's not that it's not rewarding. Like it's not that it's a good life. It's just different than what people expect.
It is. And I think when, kids are in high school or in college, I think they're also led to believe a little bit that, hey, if you get this, you get perfect grades, or you go to school and you get this degree, you're automatically going to get this job, or you can go run a business. You can't. It just doesn't work that way. And so a lot of people learn a really hard lesson really fast out of the gate. It's not what they thought. And that crushes people a lot of times, and they never recover from it. And so they just get a job and they go out and they work, which is fine. But they had a dream to own a business. But whenever they've not been prepared for that, when they go out and you get crushed so fast, because owning a business will crush you faster than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And you have to be confident. As we talked about, there's a fine line between the confidence and arrogance, but you got to be confident, because people want to do business with confident people, right?
Yeah. It's a series of getting kicked in the stomach.
Yeah, every day, right? Just stand in line. It's like, give me another. Is that all you got?
Yeah. But the people that I see who are successful are the people that can get kicked in the stomach, and they just keep going.
Yeah.
Like it's not the smartest people. It might not be the most talented. It's the people that just keep taking one step after another.
And you can't look back, because you're going to make mistakes to get where you go. Just everybody does. You just got to use those mistakes to get better.
Yeah.
And so instead of looking back at what you lost or what could have been, the only real thing to do is look forward, use that example, and then try to make that up. You can't look in the rearview mirror and say, I wish I would have done this, wish would have done that. People ask me all the time, and they say, well, gosh, would you have done anything different? And I know this sounds really bad. I don't think I would have. I really don't. Because all the hard lessons and the stress and the, on the road, 35, sometimes 50 weeks a year, it was crazy, almost the entire year somewheres, 3 or 4 or 5 cities a week, come with a lot of, you had to create a lot of discipline, right? And so those lessons helped me grow our business and understand how to take that into multiple different industries, not just one. But I don't think I'd really change anything. I had a great wife, a great family with is very supportive, and I think you have to have that to be successful also. It's really hard to be successful when somebody's in your ear the whole time, like, you need to do this, you're not doing that. So I think it's important. Success never comes alone. There are people that come with you through that success.
Yeah. I use the analogy of getting kicked in the stomach and just keeping going, but you need people around you to pick yourself up off the ground that many times.
You do.
And you have to have self-belief, but there's not enough self-belief in the tank to get through a life of entrepreneurship.
There's not. And you got to have those friends. I've got friends that during that crazy growth period, there's parts, quite honestly, that I don't even remember. There are parts in my life that I don't remember. I see pictures, but I don't really even remember that particular moment. And these are maybe a moment with the kids or something on vacation, and I just don't remember that. It's really, and my memory used to be good then, different than now. I had a pretty good memory then. But the hustle and the hard work and the drain is so hard that just happens.
It's like a blur, right?
It's like a blur.
It's just all these things all happening at the same time, pulling you in different directions.
Yeah, and it pulls you, and good people help you make it through that. And I think a lot of times people make the mistake of hiring the first person that walks in the door. That could be the worst thing you ever do for your business, right? Be diligent, take the extra time, make sure that's the right person. You're better off taking an extra 2 or 3 months to hire the right person as to hire the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take you 3 or 4 or 5 months to find out they're the wrong person. So it's going to hurt your business, and then you got to spend another 2 or 3 months finding the right person. So what should have been a 3-month process is now taking you 8 or 9. And that's totally because who does the extra work? As an entrepreneur, you do it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make up the difference. And so I think hiring is so important. It's hard these days.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know as well. Like, you don't know yourself until you yourself go through adversity,
Right.
and pick yourself off the ground. It's even harder to know those characteristics in someone else, maybe until they face that adversity.
Right.
So even, the more experience you get in hiring people, it's still not an exact science.
It's not. And I had we got all kinds of little sayings, but I had a mentor once. We were in a tough situation in our business, and, people were reacting really, some negatively, some positively. It was a really tough time. And I remember Don Graham, which is a mentor, private equity partner, just man's a brilliant man. He looks over and he just looks and goes, "You do realize that adversity doesn't build any character; it just reveals it." And that's an old saying, but I think about that every time I get. There are times when you need to be mad, right? In business, there are times you need to be mad, but there are also times you have to understand that the way that you're perceived in those situations will probably change your path with those people later. So having that discipline to understand that is really hard, because you want to just, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to fight sometimes to stay alive.
Yeah.
And you got to know, do I fight or do I, how do I handle this?
You got to get on the ground and you got to fight with your hands in the dirt sometimes, and then you got to lead. And a lot of times it's all at the same time.
All at the same time, right?
Those worst, hardest moments, it's like, how are you perceived is the heart of leadership.
And perception is reality. No matter what you want to say or no matter what the numbers say, perception is reality.
Yeah.
And so the way you're perceived will be the way people treat you.
Yeah. What have you learned is the most important qualities in the people that you want around you?
I think we kind of live by a rule of said, done. If you say something, you have to do it. But I think that character, and ensuring whenever you're in that process that person's character, it kind of aligns with the principles that you want to build and grow your business. Someone's word, trust, is such an important part. If I hire someone in a critical position, I got to know I can trust that person. I got to know that they have high character, high credibility. And I think those are so important. I don't really need, this is just me personally. We've built a whole career on this, 30 years. I don't need a piece of paper that says that you've got an MBA from Harvard. Doesn't matter to me. The person is more important, because I can show them what I need. Sometimes when you get these, I don't want to say this without trying to be negative, but sometimes when you hire people that have some of those attributes, they feel like they're going to come and tell you how to run your business, but they've never ever been in business before, and they sure don't know your industry. And so when you've never been in business and you've just graduated college, no matter what your degree is or what degree you have or from what university, you still lack the experience.
Yeah. As the employer, as the entrepreneur, you have to have, it's self-belief too, right? Like, you have to believe in yourself that you understand this business. It's not an arrogance. It's not that you don't have anything left to learn. You certainly do, but it's like, this expert off of the street, I know, like, I have self-belief in what I know.
Yeah. And so we were talking earlier, whenever you're in college, you're at a university, you study all these case studies. So when you do that, you're trying to learn what this person done and what this person done, that case study. When you own a business as an entrepreneur, you are the case study, right? And so you have to be able to do all of those things, because you're living it every day. There's no book that tells you what to deal with when somebody doesn't pay you the invoice and they're late. Now I can't make payroll. Okay, what do? I got employees I got to pay. They got put food on the table. They got to buy clothes for their kids. They got vacation. I can't write them a check. I got to figure that out. That's real, right? Or, production's down. The flu comes through, so now you're not going to meet production. So there's penalties because you didn't hit those production requirements.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you going to deal with that? You can't afford to take that hit. You're barely making payroll right now.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? You're in the middle of the fire. So
Yeah.
you're learning as you go. You are the case study.
Mm-hmm.
You're the project. You're the experiment, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to understand that, and you got to be willing to go outside the box and be very creative. A friend of mine in Mecklenburg, North Carolina, sheriff there, I always use that term like outside the box. He had a brilliant thought process that he's not going to work outside the box. He's going to create a new box.
Mm.
And so, I've kind of took that from Gary a little bit, and I really like to talk about we're not going to work outside the box. That means we're working outside of something we know doesn't work.
Mm.
So we work outside the box. Well, why don't we just create a new box?
Mm.
I thought that was so much more powerful and understanding. We don't work outside of a box. We're working outside of a system that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let's just create a new box where stuff works.
Yeah. It's a very constructive mentality. Like you're building it's a building process. It's building a new box.
Building a new box.
Yeah. And when you're truly an entrepreneur, you are doing things that haven't been done before.
That's right.
Like there's some businesses where you can make a business better. You can have a different version of it. But I think true entrepreneurship is building something that hasn't been done before. Yeah. And which is a beautiful thing, except there's no manual for those things.
There's no manual.
Like,
there's no manual. And when you find out it's wrong, somebody's mad. You've done made a customer mad. That's when you find out it's wrong. It's like, oh, listen, I tell you how much I like you. Hold on a minute. And what you're counting on, and we talked about this a little bit too. You're counting on that relationship to get you through those tough times. I believe we discount the value of relationships today. I think it's just the world we're in a little bit. But without those relationships, when you have an issue with a customer or you have an issue with an employee that relationship is what's going to get you through that, not the contract. If you have to go to a contract on a regular basis, you're doomed right out of the bat. Because, if I got to go to the contract and say, Matt, you owe me 62 cents because you were 14 minutes late, we're probably in trouble. Or if I got to go to the contract, you owe me $1.72 because your people didn't report at 8 a.m., they reported at 9 a.m. We're in trouble, right? It's the relationship that gets you through those tough times. And without those, it's very difficult to operate a business. People do business with people, and they do business with people they like.
Yeah.
If they don't like you, but they're forced to do business, they will because they need to. But as soon as they find somebody they like, they can do the same business, you're probably on your way out the door. And so those relationships, I think, are so key, and they need to be genuine, right? People are they can really quick understand if you're genuine or you're not. So you need to really care about your customer and care about the things they do, about their family if they're having a problem. Listen to what they're talking about instead of wanting to get your narrative out there. Sometimes your narrative has to take a back seat to what somebody else's is.
Yeah. This podcast has had so many successful people from different backgrounds, different industries. And so many times, like one of the common themes is the importance of relationships. Yeah. Like you ask them, how'd you get there? Like you trace the story. It's a series of relationships, and they'll go back to relationships. And I think everybody does that in a different way. Tell me what's important to you in terms of like, that creating relationships, creating trust, that goes back to the grind.
Oh, it's the grind. It's a lot of work. I mean, even with the things that we've done, I make those phone calls. I call and check on people. Is there anything we can do? If I know they were having a struggle in their family, I call and check. And I genuinely want to know because I think these people you become, it's a different kind of friendship, but you do become friends with these people and you got to care about those people. And I think when you do, it's genuine. They understand that. But I think that, just trust is such a big deal that without that relationship, without that trust, there's just no path forward. Unless you have a monopoly or you have Bitcoin or something, you're probably okay. But other than those things, it's very difficult to operate.
Do you find a mistake that people make is trying to build that trust with decks and from behind a screen trying to convince people that they should be trusted?
Listen, there is no substitute for face-to-face, handshake, dinner, There's no substitute for that. Yeah, I think even with COVID, it made it even worse because we're Zoom everything, Teams everything. And so I think it becomes so second nature for just to get on a Zoom, get on a Teams meeting. And it is convenient. To be quite fair and honest, it is convenient. It does serve a great
efficient.
purpose. It's efficient. Doesn't help you with the relationship and the decks. Just another mentor of mine is interested. We're pitching this big pitch, big deal for us. So I walk in with this big deck. I go into this executive vice president's office. I sit down, and I'm so proud. I have cranked this deck out. Entrepreneur. Nobody else is doing the deck. I'm doing the deck, right? And so this is a big deal for us, man. I mean, it is make or break. So I go into it, and the executive vice president, which is a great friend of mine today, he's a big part of our success, to be honest with you. He looks at the deck. He tears off page 1, tears off page 3, puts page 3 over here, flips through it, pulls 3 more pages out, takes the rest, wads it up, throws in the trash. Says, okay, I think we're ready. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what just happened? That's 2 weeks of 12, 14 hours a day grinding that presentation out. He looks and he goes, oh, and by the way, I don't need the logos. I don't need the little pretty things or whatever. I just need these bullet points real quick. We'll get this deal done quick. We go through, it's like 3-4 pages really that we went through. I explained, so you're making this much? No, we don't make that much margin. It's not it. He goes, well, so what's this? I explained. He goes, oh, okay, well, that covers what you need, covers what I need. All right, I'll tell our people we'll just get the deal done. We were done, but I had a relationship there. I had trust. Not as much as a relationship because it was still a new relationship, but his people I had a relationship with, and they trusted us.
Yeah.
Because we always did what we said we were going to do, and we never tried to do anything dishonest with our customer. Our mindset was always, how can we help save you money without having to cut our margin? And by doing that, we were able to get a tremendous amount of business, and we didn't have to give the farm away to get it. We just had to find ways to lower their cost, but rarely affected our margin.
But you had to understand what they needed.
You got to understand
You can't assume what the other person needs.
Don't ever tell anybody what their company needs, right? If you try to tell them what their company needs before you understand and listen, they're going to get very defensive very quickly. You have to build that trust where they want to have that dialogue, that back and forth dialogue. You walk in the door day one, put a PowerPoint up, let me tell you what your company needs. You don't know anything about that company, right? I mean, you don't know anything. You're going into it. Now you're getting on this. Now you're getting on that razor thin line of confidence and arrogance we talked about. It feels like you're floating over that arrogance stuff. I don't know anything about your business, but I can put a PowerPoint together. I can come tell you how to fix it. It's a little tough. People don't like that.
Yeah. It's a fine balance. It's a fine balance.
It's an art. In all reality, it's an art.
It's experience too, right? Like it's experience. You go one way or the other over time. Like you get better at it.
You get better
at time, unless you only spend time behind the screen of a phone.
Yeah.
Then you don't ever get better.
You don't ever get better. You never make it past the screen of the phone. You just don't.
Yeah. I see so many people trying to be successful by being behind the screen.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
You have to get in front of people.
Yeah.
It is painful. Listen, when I tell you it is inconvenient, you know as well as me, it is inconvenient to be successful.
Yeah.
It is. Everybody think, it's inconvenient. It's every minute of your life is part of your success. And you have to be willing to sacrifice that time to be successful.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
I want to hear, like, Allen Hurley is doing so many different things. Every time I hear your name, you're associated with something different. Well, and so many interesting. It's all interesting stuff. It's new boxes, right?
New boxes.
a lot of new boxes. But I want to go back. Like you started with nothing, and I especially admire people who started with nothing, because that's a different journey.
It's a different journey, and you always you appreciate it. And we try to stay as humble as we possibly can, because two things. One, we believe the Lord giveth, he taketh away at the same time. And if he gives you an opportunity, you should try to share that opportunity with other people and try to help people. And so I think that's real important. But, it actually started back around 7th grade. actually a little before that. So for Christmas one year, I got a little pinball machine, little tabletop pinball machine, and I seen that, and I'm like, wow, everybody in the neighborhood wants to play this machine. It's got to be worth a dime. So I make a little box. I put it there, and there's kids coming from the neighborhood, like literally a line, bicycles all down the driveway, coming up, wanting to put a dime in this box to play. I said, I have really figured out how to make money here. I'm probably 12 years old or something, 13 years old. They worked great until my dad come home and seen the box and seen kids sticking their dimes in the box or whatever, running home, looking under couch covers to find another dime to come back to play again. Dad goes, those are your friends. I said, yeah. I said, I think friends are good customers. He took that box, emptied it, put it in my hand. He goes, you go give every single dime back.
Oh.
So I had to go give every dime back. But when I got a taste of that, I'm like, I like this.
He didn't extinguish the fire.
No, he didn't extinguish the fire. So 7th grade, you're not supposed to sell candy or any type of extracurricular things at school. And 7th grade, our bus driver, we had a great bus driver. Loved it. We drove right past a little store at the bottom of our neighborhood, and she probably wasn't supposed to, but she let me out. I'd go in, I'd take my allowance, and I'd buy a bag of candy. 3-cent bubble gum back then, 20-cent pack of gum and 5-cent suckers, all that kind of stuff. I would take it to school, and I would sell like that 25-cent pack of bubble gum for $1. I'd sell that 3-cent piece of bubble gum for $0.25. That 10-cent blow pop for 50 cents.
Yep.
I'd sell out in an hour. I was like, man, so I just kept doubling down, It's like, I'm going to push it. I'd take that money, buy more. And school year ended. There's some chatter, no big deal. 8th grade year, I go into it doing the same thing. And they finally found there's these notes, if you're selling this, you can't do it. It's got to be part of a school deal. And I'm like, yeah. So I got called. And I remember going to the principal's office, and boy, back then they give paddlings, right? You got a big old wood paddle, and they would even let you
hanging on the wall, holes in it.
Yeah, and they'd let you sign it when you got done, right? They'd let you sign it, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be good, because the principal was not happy with me at all. And so I said, you might want to call my dad first. So I'm thinking, well, how can I get out of this? So we called my dad. My dad was, he wasn't real happy that he was going to paddle me, to be quite honest with you. So he come down or what have you, and he said, I'll handle it. So we go out, get in the car. He's like, son, what are you doing? I explained it to him, and he goes, you're telling me those kids will pay you 25 cents for a 3-cent piece of bubble gum? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, you can't sell any more this year, but that's a great plan. He said, nobody will pay that. He said, you know how much percentage of markup that is? He said, that's a great deal. And I said, well, am I in trouble? Not unless you sell again. So I didn't sell anymore, but he promoted that. And then we get to high school. A friend of mine's uncle sold those little lollipops that you put on a tree at Walmart.
Yeah.
Those 2 for 88 cents.
Yep.
You'll know some of those guys actually, because they're all
we went to the
guys,
same
right?
high school.
High school.
Same county school.
Same county school. So we're selling those things. If the wrapper, we go over and help him. If the wrapper was stuck to it at all, Walmart wouldn't take it as a reject. So we would help sort every one of these thousands of boxes, and he would give us all the rejects. Well, we took them to school and sold them for like $1 a piece, and we had them for free. So there was 3 of us working on it. And there was stuff all over the intercom every morning. If you're selling these suckers, it's against school rules and all this. And nobody ratted us out, like none. And so we go months and months, and we're crushing it. My dad actually asked if I was selling drugs at one point. He said, son, how you got all that cash? Dad, you remember that gig back in middle school? A friend of ours, and we get these suckers, we're selling for $1 a piece. He goes, you're telling me these kids are crazy? I spent $1 a piece for those suckers. I said, yeah. He goes, well, what happens if you get caught? I thought, I don't think it's anything bad at all. He's like, oh, okay then. Well, it's probably pretty bad. But so we finally got caught. One of our 3 of us had some suckers left in a duffel bag or what have you at lunch, and we never had anything left at lunch. And the principal comes over, how you guys doing? We're doing great. What's in that duffel bag? Oh, books. He's thinking like, no, there's no books in that bag. Opens it up, there's suckers in it. So we escaped that without getting expelled, but or even in school suspension. But it was a tough gig. But then that kind of just led to the entrepreneurial piece, and one thing led to another, and had a business at the flea market selling car audio. Figured out how to become a wholesaler.
I didn't know that
for car stereo. I just called up a distribution person and told them, listen, I'm a wholesaler. I've got a retail business. So they asked me to fill an application. I filled it out. And next thing you know, I'm a wholesaler and I'm buying at wholesale prices and taking it to the flea market. Had a store set up, selling at the flea market. And then we got into the phone business. Yeah.
So I've told people, like, everybody flips something. Like, every business flips something. You take something, you add value to it, and you sell it.
Yeah.
And how well you do is how much value you can add to it.
That's right.
Right. And you just told the story how you just kept flipping different things.
That's it.
But the product just got different.
It just got different.
Yeah. And the margins got bigger.
The margins got bigger, and the process works the same for most businesses.
Yeah.
As we were talking earlier, one of the things we measure in all of our businesses, and I learned this through the Touchstone business. It started off as Individual and Wireless, and we merged with the company in 2005 to create a new company, Touchstone Wireless, with a private equity partner, the guys that invented the plastic oil bottle. Great mentors, great private equity partners. Some people have bad stories of that. I've got nothing but great stories. Doesn't mean they were all good stories. We had a lot of things we disagreed on. We worked through every one of those, and just I would tell you that was probably one of the best private equity groups that I've ever seen, because we've done so much work for private equity groups or companies that had private equity partners. These guys were absolutely one of the Striker Partners was the name of it. The father actually invented the plastic oil bottle, a lot of other things too, converted the whole industry from cardboard wax to plastic. So interesting deal. Learned a tremendous amount from him and that whole team. It was really a great experience. We worked really hard, but we learned a lot from those guys. And at the end of the day, again, you can't change what happened yesterday. We just got to figure out how to make it work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I learned that from those guys. We had some things that were really tough in our business at one point, and they're like, well, we can't change that. What are we going to do to move forward so we can make up for that? So what do you mean? Never once did those guys pitch a fit. And we had disagreements, but never once did they pitch a fit, say, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. It was always about, okay, well, so what did we do there that didn't work? Or how did that happen? So, all right, well, now how do we fix that going forward? What's the plan? Like, wow, I was expecting to get
paddled,
right? And probably not even get to sign the paddle, but it was just a different experience with those guys, and learned so much. And so we started that business out of a neighbor's garage.
And this is essentially flipping cell phones at the very beginning,
exactly
right?
Flipping cell phones, 100%. So we kind of got into it. We had a business that was a dealer agent, as they called it, worked for the carrier for several years, 5-6 years. Seeing these guys making a bunch of money in the mall and other stuff, and I'm like, I can do that. So I went to the general manager and said, listen, I want to become a dealer. And he's like, I didn't have anything, didn't have any money, didn't have anything, And he's like, I don't know, Allan. And long story short, we figured it out, got into that, and started selling phones, and people were selling used phones. And so I was like, and I was buying used phones. The problem was nobody would hold up to their warranty. Everybody would sell you one, but never would warrant it. Whenever you had a problem, you're just stuck with it. So I'm sitting there one day, I said, you know what? If you just do what you say you're going to do, and if you have a problem, you just fix it, I think people will buy these all day, because a new one was $550, $600, and a used one was $125.
And what year is this?
98.
Okay. The very beginning of cell phones.
Very beginning. Yeah, a couple years into it, really. The old Motorola Flip was a big, and then the big old, what they call the Ultra H, the big massive Motorola
like a brick.
Yeah, the one that you could use in a street fight.
Yeah,
that's what was there. That and an install in a bag. So we just kind of started down that path of finding used phones, refurbishing those in a neighbor's garage, and then back then it was fax. There wasn't a ton of email stuff. So we would go to the internet and print. It was all 56K. It took forever to print, but we would print a state or a city, the yellow pages. Then we would go across the yard to my house. I was in a neighbor's house, a friend of mine. We built it and flipping houses. We were flipping. And he'd already moved out of his, and Judd had flipped me a remote, says, well, you can use my garage until you find a place to operate. So we're operating out of his garage and my spare bedroom. So I would go over to the spare bedroom and I would literally call every single one of those people on the internet yellow pages for that city. Can I fax you my special? And we would fax them the special. And you'll talk about it. There wasn't no computer programs to make it easy. It was all cut and paste, kind of making these flyers. It was crazy how we had to do it. And we would take those, send them out, and people would call and place orders. And I got paid off all my
And you were
debt.
faxing them.
Faxing hundreds of fax a day.
Wow.
Hundreds. And long time to fax, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go fast. Painful. Super painful. But it worked. I sit there and did it, then I go work. Come back, do some more, go work. And so we were refurbishing these phones in a neighbor's garage and sold everything, had some pretty nice cars. I was used to driving pretty fun stuff, pretty fortunate, had a good job, and sold it all for a 92 F-150 pickup truck with no air conditioning. Had air conditioning put on at Johnson City Ford, cost me $1,000. Try to get air conditioning put on a car for $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
Found out the truck didn't work too well because I couldn't haul when it rained. Sold the truck. Bought a 94, I believe it was, Dodge Caravan. Now, I'm used to driving like Mustangs, Dodge Daytonas, like Honda Preludes, like really cool cars back in the day, And I traded all for a 94 Dodge Caravan and took all the seats out of it. And I would haul phones. I would deliver them to North Carolina, Southwest Virginia, Middle Tennessee, and I would just drive those. And the reason I drove them instead of shipping them was two reasons. One, I didn't really understand shipping yet. But two, I wanted to have that face-to-face time with those people that were buying because they knew other people in those communities and that were dealer agents, and I wanted to make that personal connection so they could refer me to somebody else because they've met me and shook my hand, and it worked.
Is if you there were more efficient ways to get that product to them.
There was.
But you would have lost something in the efficiency.
That's right.
There's so much to learn from that story you just told. Like I could keep saying the word grind, but what other word is there?
That is the word.
When you're faxing to the yellow pages specials.
And you cannot let no hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Because you get 100 no's to one yes. Very tough, 'cause
it's a small percentage game.
Small percentage game. And it wears on you, right? It's no, 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 no. It just wears on you. And so we kind of come up with this philosophy because we got tired of no, it crushes you every day, right? I mean, think about that first girl you asked out that said no. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? What'd I do? And it's really, that happens with everybody, and no matter what you do. If no is such it's a neat and effective word, but it's also a hurtful word, and you think no. Oh my gosh, and people stop. Well, we didn't. We kept going. And so we come up with the term that no is just a yes, but. Means maybe it's not good today, but it could be tomorrow. Maybe it's not the right price or the right model, but maybe it could be tomorrow. So we continue to send those faxes over and over. And there was no opt-out at the bottom, like on an email, unsubscribe. So they were getting that fax no matter what. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people over time that said no, they ended up saying yes.
Just persistence. It worked in 1998, and it's still working in 2025.
It is. Isn't it amazing?
It is amazing.
It's a very simple rule.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
But it's inconvenient, and it's hard.
The inconvenience piece, there's so much truth to that, because it's a world where everybody talks about efficiency.
Yeah.
And efficiency isn't necessarily the right answer.
There's no way to be efficient as far as the relationship part. You can do, we got a company, we do like mass emailings, marketing campaigns. We have a ridiculously high open rate. It's one best in class, to be honest with you. Jasmine actually runs that, does a ridiculous job at the content and the whole process. We've had companies say, are you sure that number's right? Yeah, out of our CRM. That's right. They're like, well, that's like best in class numbers. But it's consistency and listening to the customer, listening to what they want to see and what they want to hear. So there are ways to utilize those tools to help you build confidence and trust and awareness. But there's still, we go to the conferences, right? We go to the trade shows so that when those people, and we get a booth. So when they come up, there's so many people that come to that conference or that booth that come and says, hey, I got your email. Oh, I love that one you did on X, Y, or Z, just an awareness campaign. And so now I get that chance and our team get that chance to have that one-on-one, face-to-face conversation, build a little trust. And they're like, okay, these people are real. They really do mean it. The fact that they're here and they're doing these things, you shake their hand and, that's where you get sales.
An efficiency expert would look at that and say, Allen Hurley's time is way too valuable to be at a booth at a trade show.
So it's funny you say that. So I'll tell you a company that we work with or have in the past, thinking from an efficiency standpoint. And on paper, it sounds great. We're going to go to 100% campaign-driven sales. So we're not going to worry about the reps. We're not going to worry about the agents. We're going to launch campaigns, and those campaigns, because we've got such a great product, people will buy. Doesn't work. It's a combination. The campaigns are good because it creates awareness and lets people, maybe they've never seen the product before. So this gets it in front of people. So when you do have a conversation, it's a little bit softer because you're not trying to explain something they've never seen or heard of. So there's a place for that. But we rarely have ever gotten a sale because a campaign went out and somebody just sent us a PO. It just doesn't work. It's the campaign goes out, somebody sends us a message, I'm interested, like to learn more. So we build that relationship, and it may take 6, 8, 10, 12, 18 months for that to fall through the pipeline. So that's why those pipelines are so important, because if you load a pipeline, and it's any business, doesn't matter what it is. If you load a pipeline, if you think about a pipe, think of it like literally as a piece of pipe, and you load that pipeline with potential sales, and you just keep cramming it full, and say that thing's got no lid over the top of it. So either that pipeline, the sale will flow through the pipeline and come out the end. But eventually, if you get so many in there, there'll be customers in a pipeline that just start falling over the top. You don't expect them. They're not really, you're not expecting that for 8 or 10 months. But just so happens they found some funding. So it falls out of the top. But if you didn't build the pipeline, which is the grind, if you didn't build that, you'd be waiting on 3 or 4 customers to come out the end. I want the customers coming out the end that I can predict. Well, I want all the ones that are flowing out of the top that just kind of fall out because they found money. I want those too. Right? We forecasted that guy 8 months down the road, but now he's early.
It's so much about timing, right? And being there. But the relationship and the follow through puts you there at the right time.
It's because you're always having the follow up in the conversation. So when that time is right, you're there. You can't.
And you're top of mind.
You're top of mind. You can't magically pick. So, you know what? I think their timeline is going to be 2 weeks and 2 days. I'm going to call them. That's never going to work. But if I call them every week, if I follow up every week, when the timing is there, we're on their mind. Hey, listen, I've been thinking about buying some of those. I'd like to talk to you about that today. Okay, we've called 14 times and never had a conversation about actual purchasing.
And been told no 14 times.
Yeah, told no 14 times.
Kicked in the stomach 14 times. You keep going.
You keep going. Persistency, and eventually they find the funding, they're able to purchase. It's a similar model for almost everything. You're trying to sell a guy a new car salesman, trying to sell a person a new car. I just can't afford it. I'm just looking. Well, if that salesperson will follow up with that person, and no, we're in the car business also, and they follow up, you know what? You still got that car? I'm interested in coming looking at it. And they come look at it, right? So it was no today, but might still be no tomorrow, the next week. But the next week, maybe there's an income tax check that come back. Or maybe they got a promotion. Or something happened. Or like, no, I can afford that car now. So the easiest sale is the one you've already talked to.
Yeah.
So why would you want to sit there and just cold call basically every single time? When you build that relationship, the easiest sale is typically the one you've already had a conversation with. So just keep having those conversations. Don't stop. Eventually, you will get yeses out of that. Not them all, but you will get yeses out of that.
But the CRM can't solve. It can't solve for those. It can't solve for the timing problem.
It can't.
It can set the relationship up, but it can't be there at the right time.
It's human interaction.
Yeah.
Right? And it's good for the soul, right? It's good for the soul.
Tell me more about that.
So, when you look at everybody on their phones now and there's no connection with people.
Yeah.
It's very hard on people mentally. They don't realize how hard that is. It is very hard on people. The social aspect of connection is good for your soul, right? Whenever you're not connected to people, you become not as happy. You become distant. You can't have that same communication. When you're with people and you're in there, you're having those conversations, it's good for your health. It's good for your mental health. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. The digital world is not a healthy. It's not a healthy place. It's not a good. It's not enough to make a successful business. It's not enough to keep us.
It's not. It's a
happy.
good tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool. Just like we've had tools.
Yeah.
We had fax machines before, right? The tools have just got better. Doesn't mean the grind goes away.
And what's ironic is you're telling me this, and you were at the very beginning of the smartphone movement in '98. You were flipping cell phones.
We're flipping. I tell you, the most popular phone for us was the bag phone. We were known as the bag phone kings. I've heard it 100 times. So we chose to be bag phone kings on purpose for a couple reasons. In the major cities, they were phasing out bag phones, which what that meant was more people wanted the handhelds. So the bag phones had no real value in a metropolitan area.
And for the younger audience, a bag phone is about
Yeah.
that big.
And it's in a bag.
It's in a bag, and you keep it in your caravan because you need a big car.
You need a big car. You plug it in a cigarette lighter to use it. And if you were really fortunate and had enough money, you could buy a battery that was $100 that weighed about 3 pounds.
that you could leave the car. And it was how much a minute?
Oh, it was. I could tell you exactly. So it's funny. It was $21.95 a month for 30 minutes, 50 cents a minute for every minute after that. $24.42 was tax. That's exactly what it cost.
That 31st minute was 50 cents a minute.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talk about bankrupt families.
Yeah, boy. Our kids would have bankrupted us.
Oh my gosh. And I remember stories at some point that people had come in and they were asking about what they had out there. I remember stories where people would come in and their kids would spend $1,500 or $2,000 on a phone bill, and the parents would never know. It was incredible. And you're sitting there thinking, I feel so bad for these people, but they owe $1,500.
Yeah.
And so we would have to try to get, finance on the phone. Hey, this happened. And they would usually be really good, and they would credit whatever their average bill was for 12 months. They would make that the bill. And then they're like, that's your one time. Happens again, you owe $1,500.
Yeah.
So the carriers were really good about working with people because it was such a a kid gets a hold of it. What are they? I don't know. That's a phone.
Yeah.
They just pick it up and start calling.
So they were forgiving there in the early days.
Yeah, in the early days. Maybe not so much now, but they were.
Well, they understood the lifetime value of
That's right.
the customer back in '98.
Yeah.
But the principles that you've talked about are persistence in the face of adversity. Being told no is not a no, overcoming adversity, the grind. These are all things that we're not. We learned those. We learned a lot of those things in public county schools.
Right.
I sold stickers.
Yeah, there you go.
You sold lollipops and pinball time.
Yeah.
we learn those skills. Kids now are learning whatever they're learning behind the screen of a phone, but I don't think they're
Whatever's on
learning
YouTube.
those things. Listening skills, face-to-face conversations.
Right. Public speaking.
Yeah. All of these inconvenient. Everything's so convenient now.
Yeah.
But everything that you've talked about, and you've used this word over and over, is inconvenient. Inconvenience. That's where the secret to your success has been.
And people look at that, though, and they think, oh, well, but you've got all this or you've done that. Oh, poor you, it's inconvenient. It's like, well, it was inconvenient when I didn't have anything, when I was working 80 hours a week with anxiety attacks because the pressure was so high. It's the same inconvenience now. I've just learned how to deal with it. So it's been inconvenient from the beginning, 30 years of inconvenience. When it's tough, you have to have a good family and a good wife, a good support system that's willing to understand your desire to try to make that work.
Have you found, we could do a whole podcast on how parents are actually making this worse by never telling their kids no. Like, I'm amazed by all the parents out there who never tell their kids no.
Yeah.
It's like they hear no for the first time when they're an employee. But we won't do that podcast today. But
that's a good one, though.
Yeah, we could. That would be a good one. But have you found these skills that are so important, the adversity, the communication, the face, can people learn those?
Yeah, I think they can. I think it's setting expectations early. I think it's part of the issue is we don't set those expectations early anymore as parents. And I don't think our schools set those expectations early. I think everybody wants everybody to pass. When I went to school, when you went to school, man, it was tough. You didn't pass pretty much. It's like, welcome to the 8th grade again. I mean, that's the way it was. Now it's like, no, we got to push everybody through. And you're actually hurting those kids when you do that a lot of times. But you have to understand why. Well, we've done so much in the schools and with the schools. You got to understand why, because it's not because kids are dumb. Just telling you right now, it's just not. It's because of the external environment or what their living situation most of the time. We've seen so many kids over the years. You look and they struggle, and you're like, "What's going on? I mean, this is not that hard." But then when you start digging in to these kids and you can't judge a book by its cover. You may find a young person that has a parent that's done pretty well, they're an attorney or a doctor. That doesn't mean that kid doesn't face some very significant adversities and challenges in their life.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people think, oh, it's this kid that may not be their family doing as well. That's the one that's got all the problems. It's just not true. So when you go and look at it, you may find out that kid hasn't ate a good meal in a week. Or they were dropped off somewheres and got picked up at 11 o'clock. Well, when you look at those situations, it's hard to do homework then. You're worried, you're hungry. You're worried about, where am I going to eat? I got to look out for my little brother, my little sister. And so school's not important. Survival is important. So we found so many kids over the years that with a little bit of love and a little bit of understanding and helping and direction, that we've been able to help, some of those kids get back on a track that would put them in places where they may never have been before. They need somebody to believe in them. They just need somebody to love them most of the time. And we've seen that over and over again.
How important is it to keep the expectations high for those kids?
I think that depending on the kid, you have to first help them understand that they get to control their future. They hold the keys. Don't let somebody else tell you what you can and can't do. Right? You can change your own path, but it may be harder than someone else, but you can do it. I think you have to get those kids to buy into that and understand that they really can. There's tons of people it's been very hard for, but you have to get them to buy into that. You look at a kid that has failed school since the 3rd grade. Nobody really has looked into the root cause of why they failed since 3rd grade. By the time they get to high school and they fail 10th, 11th grade, they've accepted failure as their life at that point. So we've done them no favors by failing them and then pushing them on to the next grade. We've not helped those kids. Think about it. If all you know is failure, and you go home and somebody says, oh, you're a failure, you're a mistake, then you go to school and then you take a test, or kids make fun of you because you don't have the right shoes, and because kids are mean sometimes, and it's just what it is. And the teachers are not investing because they think, oh, this kid's just lazy, and it's not. And they fail, and they fail again, and they fail again. That kid only knows failure. Trying to help that kid understand that they can be successful and break the cycle, it's very hard. Again, it's the grind. Same thing in trying to help those kids, and we've done so much, it's the grind.
Yeah.
Because they are a troubled soul. And I think in today's world, we have so many kids with troubled souls. We have an obligation as leaders in our community to try to help those kids understand that they can succeed. And I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you're passionate about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had kids before that had a little girl, played basketball for us. We've coached, kids since, I don't know, my kids were 7, 8 years old, so 20 years or something.
Yeah.
And we had, I remember once we had a little girl on a basketball team, was really too young to play. It was in a city-run league for a school in Bristol, Virginia. And they said, yeah, you're great. We got a program, but we don't have a coach. Your kids can play here, part of the school deal, but you have to coach the team. I'm like, oh, gosh, I don't think I want to do that. So I said, sure. I said, we'll coach it. So we had a girl that was really too young to be playing, but that kid had the heart of a lion. Couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. The heart of a lion, though. But she was short. She was low to the ground. And so what we said was, all right, for her to be successful, the only thing we could figure out was defense. She was low to the ground. She was pretty fast. And we just say, do not let that ball get past half court. You have 5 fouls. You can use them all. You won't be penalized if you use them all. Do not let that ball get past the half court line. And she didn't. She found out several games, but never scored a point until the last game. It was in the championship game we were playing for. We won the championship, and she scored the last point in the game. The place went completely crazy and wild. I get a little emotional thinking about it. Years later, I'm walking through the Tennessee High, Virginia High basketball game at Virginia High, and this girl runs up. She's like, Coach, Coach, Coach. And kids at that age, they change a lot. And I'm like, and I figured out who it was. I said, what are you doing? She's like, you're not going to believe this. I graduated with honors. And she says, I'm going to school on a scholarship. I'm the first one in my family to go to college. Wow. See, I just get emotional thinking about it. I can hear her saying it. And she goes, Coach, I did it because you told me that I hold the keys. Nobody can tell me that I can't do it.
Wow.
And I did it. And so,
oh man.
And I just sit and I think, I said, you know what? If you can do that once in your life, it's worth every single thing you do. And I think we've been blessed enough to do that several times. But think about the power of generations that were changed right there.
Yeah.
It's because we believed in her. We found a way for her to be successful.
Somebody believed in her. And that's the other theme from all these people that I talk to in here is like somewhere along the way, somebody believed in them.
Yeah.
And that allowed them to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like these chance passing of people. It may have been a teacher. It may have been a family friend. But there's these pivotal moments where somebody believes in you enough to where you start believing in yourself.
Yeah.
But there's something else about that story that I think is important. Like you recognized, you didn't focus on what she couldn't do. And I think coaches often talk about players in terms of what their weaknesses are.
Right.
But we all have weaknesses, right?
That's right.
When you're an entrepreneur, your weaknesses are exposed every day.
Yep.
And I tell people, like, if you've got a virtue, if you've got a strength, you have a corresponding weakness. And when you are in this kind of life, your weaknesses, your vices are exposed. You cannot hide them in entrepreneurship.
No.
But this girl, you didn't talk about her weaknesses. You recognized she had the heart of a lion. It's like you don't have to have everything,
That's right.
right? You don't have to be good at everything. And you can just be good at one thing
That's right.
and have a successful life.
Without a doubt. And it's back to that part of a little bit of what I said about the college degree. I think kids should get as much education that they can, they want, they can afford, all of those things. But you don't have to have that. If you've got the heart of the line and you've got the dedication and the willingness to put the work in and the grind, I can show them what I need. You can show them what they need. It's, you know what? I need somebody that shows up every day. I know somebody that's willing to learn. I need somebody that's willing to be inconvenienced because our business is inconvenient. That's the people I need working for me, not the one that looks at $4.59 and they're already out the door and they've got this great big degree or they've got all this success somewhere else. I don't need that person. I do not need that person. Give me the one over here that's willing to work, willing to do everything they can, willing to, walk beside me with the inconvenience because it's hard. I don't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do or haven't done. But with that particular girl, she was a shattered, she just had a really big confidence issue because she was kind of short, didn't have the greatest support system. Grades were not the greatest.
Yeah.
And really, I'll be honest with you, my original thought was I was going to go to the school and tell her she's too young. She doesn't need to play on the team. We were doing drills. We're going up and down. She can't keep up. We're always waiting and all these things. And that was what I was going to do. And I went home, went to bed, and I think, something changed. I had the big guy reached down and said, "You can't do that." And I called my stepdad and I said, "Poppy, we can't let her go." I said, "We got to help her. We got to find a way that she can win in this deal."
Yeah.
And he said, "I think that's the right thing."
Yeah.
And so we got together and said, "How does she win?" We're like, "She's short.
Yeah.
She's fast. Just tell her not to let the ball go up." And you know what? She just did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you believed in her. She ended up believing in herself. But the confidence issues, man, it's not just 10-year-old girls that have confidence issues.
Yeah.
Like this business makes you question. It makes you question yourself, right? Like all of us have confidence issues. Like you have successes and you have failures, and every time you fall down, you question yourself.
I think it's important people understand, don't ride the highs too high. Don't ride the lows too low.
Yeah.
Try to ride in the middle. Be a little excited when there's really good stuff. Be a little disappointed whenever things don't work out.
Yeah.
But don't fall for the trap. When the highs are high, you're on top of the world. Look at me. When things are low, people can't find you because you're super depressed. I think it's, ride the highs a little bit, ride the lows a little bit.
Yeah.
But try to just stay consistent because consistent at the end of the day is going to win.
And it's hard to do that on your own, which goes back to surrounding yourself with the right people and how important has it been to you to have people around you that keep your feet on the ground?
It's why we have what we have today. If you don't have that, you can't. And now I've got Denise, which, and she's wonderful, been with me for 15 years. It's kind of crazy that times went that fast. And she's like family, runs the business like it's her own. Can't ask for a better person. And now I have Jasmine in there as well. So between her and Jasmine both, I got no problem people keeping my feet to the ground.
Your daughters are good for that, right?
Like, no problem. It's okay. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Daughters are especially good at keeping your feet on the ground.
There's no doubt. But it's a blessing to have them around to do that too.
But you've also stayed in Bristol. Like you could live other places. You could.
I love Bristol.
Yeah,
I really do. It's we looked at other places.
Yeah,
we looked at things, and you always think, hey, if I make it, I'm going to buy a house here or do that. And we looked at it. I mean, we had facilities all around the country, and maybe we'll just buy a house there. And we always come back to Bristol, and I love Bristol, love the people here, love the town. And when we sold the company the first time, we kind of really got into downtown, and always wanted to own a building downtown. Couldn't afford it. I met with Arthur Slaughter, for all those few people out there that remember Arthur Slaughter. He owned about every building downtown.
He owned every, and he
Yeah, he did. And
He owned them. He didn't maintain them, but he owned them.
maintained nothing, owned a lot. But there was a building, and I don't know, he liked me for some reason, and I told him I want to own one of those buildings. He says, meet me down there, and he was pretty old at the time, and he comes down and shows me a building down there and says, I'm going to make you a deal on this building. And honestly, it was a ridiculously good deal.
Huh.
Problem was I didn't have two nickels to rub together. I want that building so bad.
How old
I
were
could
you?
taste it. Probably 22, 23.
Okay.
I was young. Yeah. I was like, I could taste that building pretty much. And just couldn't buy it, He's like, well, if you ever get where you can afford it, you let me know. And, he sold the building by the time I could afford it. So that one didn't work. But then when we sold it, downtown, there's so many people that had worked downtown. I call it spokes in the wheel. There were so many spokes in the wheel. People had put their life savings in. They're working 70, 80 hours a week.
Into just storefronts where they had their own,
storefront,
hung a shingle and an antique store or something like that.
All of that stuff. Restaurant maybe.
But downtown then was not a good place. Like there was a lot of shuttered storefronts. There was not a lot of good reasons to go downtown unless you wanted antiques.
That's it. Really, that was it. And so when we had the means to buy those buildings, we really went down and we started buying buildings downtown.
What drew you to that? Because I think I've told you this, but I don't think you get enough credit for when you invested in downtown. Because investing in downtown Bristol became cool at some point.
Yeah.
But you were doing that before it was cool or safe.
Yeah. I was told I was crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
A couple of very successful business people. Downtown will never make a comeback. Had all the negative things with almost no positive. But I truly grew up going downtown. In one of the buildings we owned, the Boy Scout store was in there in the H.P. King building. So if you got a merit for anything, you had to go there and get it.
Yeah.
There's a little shoe store next door where they sold all the Vans, and every year my grandmother would buy us Vans for Christmas. We'd go in there and buy them, we'd order them, they'd be in for Christmas, and so many memories downtown. And I seen all the work that these people had done and how hard they were working. And I said, you know what? All we need is a spark. If we get a spark, we can turn it around. We can just add another spoke or two or three or four to that wheel that people have already started. So
what did you see as a spark? Like, was that nightlife? Was it what did you envision as the spark?
So I thought we needed to get businesses downtown, one, other than antique stores and those type of things. And State Line was doing great. State Line's been there for a long time.
That was the very first.
Yes, and they've done a wonderful job. Still do a good job today. I love eating there. If you've not had the chicken tenders, they're really good.
The best bar food.
Yes, bar none.
Yep.
Get it?
Yeah. Okay.
So they did a great job, but there really wasn't many other quality restaurants downtown. And it's a funny story on the 620 restaurant building. The city had acquired that building through an auction, had a golf club in it. And it was pretty rough. It was incredibly rough. And there was a business, the Stir Fry Group that owned 620, was looking to put a restaurant downtown. They chose Bristol, thought there was upside in downtown Bristol. I don't know why.
So there were two people that saw upside in Bristol.
Two people, right. And they had tried some deals with other property owners and just couldn't get a deal done. The city asked me, would you be willing to come and meet? And it was Mike Sparks calling. I love Mike to death. And he was another that wouldn't take no for an answer. I told him no.
Persistence?
Yes, and we weren't interested. Called the next day. No, Mike, we're not interested. Called the third day, and I'm like, out of professional courtesy, because he's a friend. I like Mike, and he'd helped us so much in the touchstone business just with Bristol. So I said, I need to go meet with him and Jeff Broughton. So we met, and they told me all about this piece, and I'm like, well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. And they're like, well, we got a meeting tomorrow. Let's all sit around and talk. So we have this meeting and meeting with the owner there. And at the end of the day, most everybody wanted him to just personally guarantee the term of the lease. But, I don't do that. And most people, depends on the business, right? Depends on the business. Sometimes you have to do that.
Restaurant business, that's a big commitment.
That's a big commitment, right? And I understood that. So we sit down, had the meeting. The city said, this is part of the ECD deal. We can sell this building for $256,000, and we can relieve 1/5 every year for 5 years, as long as you put a business in here and it's creating tax revenue for people. We didn't ask for anything else. We didn't get any of this other money and all these other things. That's all we got. So we invested probably $2.5 million in that building when it's all said and done. Wow. Yeah, that building was we had to gut that building down to the brick walls. It was all plaster. We made it brick, but all the electrical out, all the plumbing out. That building was complete resto. We kept as much stuff as we could that was original, but it took a tremendous amount of work. And so I laughed and I said, well, that's the cheap part of the deal. That's not, that should be free. It shouldn't even be $256,000. We agreed to the deal. And we sit there with Mark, and the issue was they want him to guarantee it. And I said, Mark, listen, we just need you to have some skin in the game. I got to know that you just can't walk away. You got something to lose. So listen, I don't need you to you guarantee it for the first 12 months and put this much money in it, and I'll put the rest. We did the deal. They've been there since 2010.
Such an important part.
So 15 years.
Such an important part of the revival of Bristol, too.
But there's a lot of risk in it, really.
Oh.
To do that downtown, not just for me, but for 620. They don't get the credit they deserve either for the risk. It was millions of dollars because they had to buy furniture, equipment. Their total, when you all in everything over the years, they've invested millions of dollars.
The odds of that ending in success was very small.
Very small. And everybody told me that.
I'm sure.
Everybody. But, we believed in it, honestly. We really did. And then we started buying other properties. And I think we may be the largest property owner in the downtown district. We really take that with a sense of commitment that we really feel like we need to try to lead. And we're doing a lot more back downtown again and this year, which it's been really great. I've really kind of enjoyed getting back into downtown and getting more involved. We've just had some business ventures that's kind of pulled us out for a couple of years. But we're really kind of back in that. And I think that our experience and the things that we do and the commitment we have for our clients, our leasees, and for our city and our neighbors, I think is pretty important to try to bring everybody together to continue to have a successful downtown.
So you were one of the two people who believed in downtown back. What was that? 2005? When you bought 620?
Let me think. 2000.
And it wasn't just 620. It was that was the whole building.
10.
Okay.
2010. Right. 15 years.
So you saw something. You saw something in downtown Bristol that very few other people saw.
You know what I saw, Matt?
What?
I saw what I grew up with. When I grew up, it was booming. Downtown was doing really great. Christmas, there was people shopping all downtown. Music, Christmas carols all over the place. Cars on a parking place on State Street. That's what I seen. And I want it to be that again.
Is that still the vision? Is that why you're getting back into downtown? You believe you see that in the? It's come a long way, man. Like downtown Bristol. I went to college here. We never went downtown. There's no reason to.
Right.
Back in the 90s. Now, like Bristol's got a great downtown.
It's got a great
downtown. It's tough. Like business down there is tough. I think any business everywhere is difficult, but it's especially difficult downtown. But you see a bright future.
I do. I really do. I've been fortunate enough to work with so many of the businesses downtown over the years, whether it be just, and just good friendly advice or, hey, I've got a problem. What do you think? So I know what a lot of those businesses do. And there's a lot of businesses that, have not made it downtown. But I'll tell you, there's a consistent, and I don't mean this to offend anyone or anything. There's a consistent flow with that. One, you have to ensure the business fits the community. If you put a business in that doesn't fit the community, it's not going to make it. Two, as we talked about, it's a grind. It's hard work. People open a business up and they think that, oh, I've got this. They're just going to flood in my door. Doesn't work that way. And whenever you find how hard it is, people often go, I can make more money working and have my weekends off. And so they go back
Convenience.
to convenience, right? And this is very inconvenient. So I think that several of the businesses that we've seen that have closed have had, some of those were factors with that. And you have some businesses that, quite honestly, people just wanted to retire, didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good for them. I'm glad they could retire and not do that.
Yeah.
So I think we need to kind of get back in there, kind of back in the game.
Is it fair to say that if you open a business in a larger city and you have a product market fit, you have the right product, you don't necessarily have to call through the yellow pages and grind to get customers in the door. But in a town in Bristol, product market fit isn't enough. You can have the right product, do a lot of things right, and you still don't have crowds coming in the door.
Yeah, I think that's everywhere, though.
Yeah,
if you think
it's not unique to Bristol.
I don't think it's unique at all, because think about this. So if you go to downtown Charlotte and you walk from one end of the downtown to the other end, how many businesses are there, small business shops down that street?
Yeah, competition.
It's unbelievable. There's more.
Yeah.
And so not only may you have a market fit, there may be 5 other people that have a market fit. And then they're all in small locations typically, and you don't even see them when you walk by. So I think the problem is everywhere. And that's where I think social media is good. I think the ability to use social media to drive traffic is a wonderful tool. It's the least expensive of anything, but you also have to be intertwined in that community, right? You need to be involved with, like, Believe in Bristol, with the chamber, the events that go on. Be part of a committee that's helping, a park. Be part of it so you're out there in the community. So if you want the community to invest in you, you need to show that community that, hey, you care, you're out here, and then people will see that, and you'll get business from that. But when you just open a door and don't do anything, you're going to fail more than likely.
Yeah, the idea is not enough.
The idea is not enough, especially today, because you have online, right? But what I will tell you, I heard an interesting stat. It was in a meeting with Main Street in Virginia. I believe that was it. But I think the numbers are still like, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was like 80% of sales retail is still brick and mortar. So if you think about that, it's like,
really?
Wow. I'm almost positive. I think it was such a high number. I was very surprised.
Wow.
The number was that high. And I'm sure there's 50 different scales of how they measure that, et cetera. So, and they were just talking about how there is still a lot of room for downtown Bristol to have retail.
Yeah.
There's still so much of it. I order online, but I hate it more than anything. I like to touch it, feel it, see it. Do I really like it? Do I not? It's a hassle to send something back for me.
Inconvenient.
So even on Amazon, right? You buy it, convenience. you buy it on Amazon, you don't like it, you just send it back.
Yeah.
I don't have time to deal with it. It's like, no, I can drive over there and look at it, touch it, look, oh, I like that. I can buy it and leave. So
yeah, you also, like, it's really interesting to me that what drives you about downtown, drives that investment, is your memories of it as a child.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't about those shoes that you actually bought. It was probably the experience.
Oh, yeah.
That you shared with your grandmother or your family or your friends going downtown. That was the magical part of downtown. It's a human experience that we don't have.
We don't.
When we're scrolling through Amazon alone.
No. We watched the original Star Wars downtown. The original Star Wars downtown.
Wow.
Is that not great?
Yeah, like 77.
Yes. The line was lined up around the building. It was unbelievable. Wonderful to go see. And then we seen The Empire Strikes Back, the second one, downtown. And then the mall come in to play shortly after that, and that's when downtown started struggling with the mall come in. And so you had the movie theater out there, more convenient. That's just where people migrated to, and that's when downtown started really taking a hit.
Yeah. But the mall was communal. Like the mall scratched that itch, that human itch, just a different space. But now the malls are in disrepair, and so downtown's back again.
It's back again.
But it's competing with the digital storefront.
Yeah, it is. But I think people, personally, I like to buy local.
Yeah.
If at all possible. Most people usually do.
Yeah.
If you can. And I think the downtown, having the music, city does a good job with having music downtown. And, There's the new, I don't know if you've heard it, but the speakers play downtown on State Street
Yeah.
now. That was an initiative that Believe in Bristol worked on with Advanced Bristol. And, the music just playing down the street, because my office is on State Street. I'll walk out, go across the street, walk down and grab something to eat at 620, go across there, get an ice cream at Karen's place at Southern Churn. And in reality, I just get out there and sit. You hear the music on the street, the cars going by, you're talking to people as they walk up and down the street, just sitting there on the table there. And it's just it's good for the soul. Sunny day. It's just a beautiful, beautiful time in downtown Bristol. It is.
What do you think? What do you think that it's downtown is it's a really important challenge. It's super competitive for cities, like resources. Everybody has finite resources.
Yeah.
But creating that experience that you just described downtown has to be intentional in some ways.
It's got to be intentional, and there's got to be more public-private partnerships with the city.
Yeah.
The city cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
Independent people like myself or any other person that's working to help create or advance downtown cannot do it alone. It has to be a partnership. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that. Individuals lose sight, cities lose sight of that. At the end of the day, we win when we work together. We win when we work together. And I think that's maybe something we've gotten away from a little bit, and we're hoping to try to bring that back a little more, because I believe that's going to be the success to get downtown Bristol to the next level. There is some neat things coming. I don't know if I'm supposed to know or say, but I think we've got a big project coming for the sidewalks and for re-asphalt state projects that'll run all the way down State Street.
Yeah.
Starts, I think, maybe this fall, late in the spring.
Yeah.
And you get that done. You want to talk about a beautiful downtown.
Wow. Yeah.
State Street will be absolutely beautiful. We get that taken care of.
That's exciting. I don't think people understand or appreciate how entrepreneurial cities have to be in 2025 to create competitive advantages, to get people downtown. It's like when you were young, when you were telling those stories, like there weren't options, right? Like it's Saturday morning, you go downtown.
That's right.
You watch whatever movie's on. Like that's your only choice.
Yeah.
Everybody does the same thing. 2025, man, like it's a lot of options.
Overload, right? Sensory overload.
You're competing with so much. You're competing with Netflix every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And so like cities have to be more aggressive and entrepreneurial. And I give Bristol a lot of credit the past 20 years because I think they've taken risks that have put them in a place to succeed. But man, it never ends, right?
It never ends. And I think that they have the things we've done downtown was 100% because of the persistency of Mike Sparks and Jeff Broughton. There's zero doubt. I mean, we would not have probably invested as we have.
Yeah.
We would have, but not as much.
Yeah.
But when they were able to get us down there and help us see things in a little different light, we were like, wow, okay, well, this is, we were investing here, but I think we're going to invest really heavily here.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier the importance of listening to your customer. You shared a lot of stories over lunch. I wish we had time to revisit, but the importance of listening and not assuming what your customer wants. But how important is it to be able to tell your own story to the other party? Because what you just described about those city leaders, they convinced you to believe in their story.
That's right.
Right? Like that's an important part of it.
It is.
In all your relationships, you're listening, but you're also telling your story.
And it's hard to tell your story because you don't want to sound like you're bragging on what you've done or what you can do. And so it's so difficult. It's really good. I'll just be honest with you. It's good to have a wing person that can help tell that story, help build that credibility.
Yeah.
And Denise does that for me, to be quite honest with you, with a lot of the people in the companies we deal with. And I'm very appreciative of that because it's hard, right? You don't want people, we've done so many things, like you said, in so many different industries that it's hard to believe. People just wouldn't believe the things we've done, we've seen, that we've had the fortune of doing, or the tough times that, we didn't know if we were going to make it tomorrow, right? We didn't know if we had enough money. We were paying everybody else's payroll, but we didn't have money to pay ourselves anything. We went 2 years without paying ourselves a check at all in the beginning. Then whenever we got to $250, I was like, God, $250 a week. I don't have any leftovers every night. I remember when we got to $500 a week, I went home and told Veronica, I'm like, listen, we're making $500 a week. She goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
What are we going to do with it all?
We thought we made it. I mean, it was incredible, especially when you didn't pay yourself anything for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting piece, and we just have to work together. And having a wing person to kind of help tell that story, or the relationships, friends with other people that can help tell that story is important, because I think it's so hard to walk in the door and tell people, I can solve that problem. Let me tell you about the 5 things that I've done that without a doubt I feel confident I can help you solve that. It's hard to do in one conversation. It takes the grind, months and months to build a relationship, and you have to drip that stuff in little by little, until you get to the point where they ask, so what have you done in this? Let me tell you, we've got a couple experiences in there. And so it's very hard. I mean, I think that's a great question. The best answer I can tell you is it's extremely hard to do yourself. It's very good when you have relationships with people they may know, or you have a good wing person like Denise that can help set those expectations and let people know the things you've done and the accomplishments and your skill. And that moves the ball way faster when you're trying to grow a business or a relationship or a contract or any of those things.
Yeah. It's almost like the relationship has to cook. You have to give it time to cook.
Simmer. It's got to simmer. It's better when it simmers.
Yeah. It's inconvenient.
It's very inconvenient.
Can't throw it in the microwave.
I want to pop it and be done, right? It's like, put it in the microwave, 3 minutes, and let's get to the deal. And it's hard for me to do because I run at 900 miles an hour. So one of the biggest things I've had to learn is that patience is ridiculously important to grow a business. I can go way fast. The problem is most people don't want to go that fast. And so, they get worried. They're scared. Is this the right decision? Is it not? This thing's moving so fast. Oh my gosh. That we move really fast. So I had to learn the patience, and it's been so hard. In the world, in the phone industry, it run at that pace, and that's what it was. If you did, you got eat up, spit out, and you were gone. They go do business somewhere else. Nobody worried about, I'm worried about this. If you said it, you got to do it, and you better do it, or you just won't do it again.
You got to do it fast.
So, and it was wildfire. I've never seen an industry, even today, that was as fast, wild, wild west, gunslingers, get it done. It was an incredible journey that few people ever have the opportunity to walk in those shoes in any industry that was that. The growth in that industry was so big, so fast, that it was, like I said, there's blurs. There's times I don't remember. And it was just it was overload, and I don't remember parts of it. I remember most of it, but there are parts I look at, I'm like, I don't remember that. Or old employees, partners in our business, and they'll talk about something like, oh, you remember you said such and such. I'm like, I don't remember. I tried, but I don't remember that. And I feel so bad because I don't remember, but it was so crazy. So that industry was very different than anything else that we've done.
And you learn business in that speed, and now not everybody you partner with is comfortable with that speed. So you have to.
99% of people are not comfortable at that speed. Seriously, and I mean that. 99% of people are not comfortable at that speed.
Yeah,
it's warp speed, and people always wonder, does he really know what he's talking about? It's pretty quick. How do you know those like 3 different things from 3 different industries? Well, we've been associated with 25 or 30 different industries, so the principles are basically the same. The circumstances are just a little different. But 99% do not like working at that speed. And then we started working in government. doing some things at state and federal levels. Oh,
It's a different gear.
listen, I had to learn patience for patience because it is so slow and so frustrating. It's a very simple decision.
Yeah.
It should be like in a day, and it takes a year or 2 years.
Have you learned with experience that you can't change people? You can't change their speed, and you have to adjust or just don't do business with them?
So a couple ways to do that. One, it's very hard to change somebody's speed in which they operate. What you can do is find the people on their team that work at a faster speed, gain their confidence and trust, and they're comfortable at that speed. This leader may not be, but because his trusted circle says we're good, he'll move faster. Still not at our speed, but he'll move faster.
An influencer.
You got to find an influencer. Without an influencer, you'll never move past their speed. But if you can get to someone in their group that moves at a faster speed,
Yeah.
that believes in what you're doing, and you can present the facts, the data that shows that this will work. When you do that, they'll go back and say, we got to move. And so now you'll get that individual move a little bit faster than what they ever would have without it. So that's kind of how you have to compensate, which is still a tremendous amount of patience, because now I got another relationship I have to build here, right? That takes time.
Inconvenient.
Inconvenient. Way inconvenient. But the speed at which this person works is still slower than the time it takes me to go build this relationship to get them to influence this person to go faster. This is still a faster pace. Even though it's inconvenient, I have to build another relationship. The end game is still faster because I got to look at the long game, not the short game, right? We look at things of like, a lot of people look at things for short-term gains with long-term pains. We try to look at the opposite. You try to look at those, long-term gains. So businesses, successful businesses, operate more than 6 or 12 months with a customer. They operate long time with a customer, right? So I got to figure out how that customer is still a customer in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
A long game.
Not just for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, tomorrow I'll make a little bit of money, right?
Yeah.
You make a little bit. There's no wealth in this.
And then
what
you've got new customer acquisition costs
right
for the next sale. Yeah, it's
right.
a long-term value.
It's a long-term value. You have to think about that, and that's hard. It's not me, to be honest with you. That's so hard for me to do, but I've had to learn that is success for different industries. You have to understand every industry moves at a different pace, and the pace in which I was used to moving just doesn't fit most other industries. There's a few, but not many.
Wow. Man, so much insight from all this experience. What are you excited about? And you're into all kinds of different things all the time. What are you excited about now?
We've got some new things we're working on for downtown, actually. And so we don't have anything struck yet on it, but we've got some it'll be very, very good for downtown. It'll fit with what downtown is and the history that it has. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can figure something out pretty soon to get that out. So I'm just excited to be back in downtown, to be honest with you, and working with my kids. I'll be honest with you. They're old enough now. They've worked in some companies that we have that have been so different than anything that we're used to working in, with kind of the government standpoint, the long cycles, and working with publicly traded companies and the things that they've learned in that time period. It's stretched their, I would say, their experience 10 years in the last 3.
Bet.
It's unbelievable what they've been able to get, and that has been probably one of the greatest. People used to always ask me, what's one of the greatest things you've ever done? And I would say, being able to spend time with my kids and coach my kids, I think was one of the greatest things I've ever accomplished. So now I kind of changed that and say the ability to be able to work with them.
Yeah.
And and they work hard. They work extremely hard. They say thank you. They appreciate it. They say, we appreciate the opportunity. I'm like, man, they listened. I mean, they listened. So that may be one of my greatest accomplishments of life, is being able to work with my kids and to spend time with them on a regular basis. Sometimes we'll all agree it's too much time. But no, we work really well together, and they do such a good job. And that's, I'm excited about that in the next chapter of my life, as I am anything, just to see them grow. And, they'll work in the family business as long as they want. They own part of one of our companies. And so as long as they want or don't want, it's their life. They need to live it the way they want to. I'm just fortunate and going to take it in right now that they're interested in being in our business. So I'm going to just suck that in as much as I can and love on it all I can.
Wow. Well, I personally am so excited to hear that you're most excited about downtown. I've had a lot of conversations here recently with people associated with Bristol and just recognizing how difficult it is. There's just a lot of new challenges, and like that you are going to be active down there is I think going to be really exciting to a lot of people. And I've told you this before, but man, when the history of Bristol is written, there needs to be a chapter on Allen Hurley. Because I don't think people recognize the risks you took. There was a crossroads, man. Bristol could have become irrelevant.
Oh yeah,
and it probably would have without some just big moments. And you taking that gamble was a big moment. I hope no one ever takes for granted.
Well, I appreciate that. We're looking forward to it, and there is so much opportunity in downtown. It's so important to match the right businesses with the community, and so we're hoping to do that. We're hoping to work with the state and work with the city on both sides to continue to bring it. Listen, I don't care if we have a business coming into town and we don't have a building they can go in. I don't care. We'll find a building for you. Somebody owns a building downtown we can use. It doesn't have to be one of ours.
Yeah.
We're perfectly okay if we can help bring a business downtown, and even if it's not in our building, I don't care. I just want that business downtown.
Yeah. The rising sea lifts all the boats in Bristol.
And eventually, the spots that we have available, they'll fill.
Yeah.
But they'll fill because we're trying to rise all tides.
Yeah.
And I think there's other business people downtown that have that same mentality. So I'm looking forward to working with them again and getting back in, and we're going to do some pretty big stuff.
It's going to take a village. It's going to take a lot of people, but it's a magical place, man. Like downtown Bristol, when there's energy down there, there's music playing, Rhythm and Roots is this weekend, you're just reminded of like, man, this is a special place.
I tell you this, we had my partner, Jeff Fields over at Motor Mile Motors. Jeff runs it. He's the car expert. I mean, he's as good a partner and as good a friend as you could ever ask for. And in my opinion, nobody knows the car business like Jeff Fields does. But we do a deal over with Michael Waltrip in August called the Sunshine Festival. And so we kind of help pull that whole thing together. But we do a car show over there, and it's family oriented. There's everything from motorcycles to old hot rods to new stuff. We're trying to, how do we get more of the younger crowd kind of in there, because you want to pass on that whole car, we kind of call it car guy stuff, car girl stuff. How do you pass that along to the next generation? So we want all cars there, Jeeps, trucks, we want it all. And we had 750 cars this year.
Wow.
It's an incredible number.
Wow.
750 cars. We've been doing it, I think this is the fourth year. Year one, we had about 250. So we've grown from 250 to 750 cars from 10, 12, 14 hours away. People trailering these beautiful cars in, all the way down to the young guy or just someone that works in their garage on a weekend that brings in a car that's half finished. It's you're like, wow, I can see where that's going. Brought that in. We had thousands of people show up to that car show that weekend. Thousands.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I was completely blown away. It was the best turnout we've ever had.
Yeah.
We use social media to promote it, and that's why I think we can do other things downtown to create. And it's over off the beaten path. Really, it's in the park over there. It wasn't in the middle of downtown. We still created 750 cars, and thousands of people showed up to come look at them.
Yeah, there was a time not too long ago, like where Bristol had two big events a year.
Yeah.
The two races, and the whole economy depended on those two races. Yeah. And I think the future of downtown is micro events like that
Yeah.
because it's such a cool place to do events.
It's a great place. And the fact that you can walk here and go to a restaurant here, a restaurant there, you can shop over here, you buy a pair of boots, you can get some candy.
Yeah.
You can buy an antique if you want. I love these antique stores that we have. I spend way too much money on old stuff. They call me a hoarder. But I walk in those stores and I look at some of this stuff and go, that will never be again in 20 years. You'll never be able to find that in 20 years. I want that. I load a cart up and stuff. I take it home and Rhonda goes, what have you done? Stop. I'm so intrigued with that old stuff that it'll never be here. Where will you find that 20 years? You won't.
Yeah.
And so I buy it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
Well, it's the nostalgia of the past.
It is.
And what's really cool is that nostalgia. Those human experiences that you experienced as a child on State Street are also the future of downtown Bristol.
Well, I think so, man. I think it is. You know, when we started all that, the other thing we wanted to do is we wanted a place for our kids to be able to go.
Yeah.
And not just my kids, the kids in the community, so they didn't want to leave. If you remember, there was a day when every kid you talked to at school was like, oh, I'm leaving. As soon as I get a chance to get out of here, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
We heard that all the time. And I mean, it was painful for me to hear that. And so when we started doing the stuff downtown, we were like, we want to create a place that our kids either want to come back to or they don't want to leave.
Amenities. That's been a big driver for us with the Sportsplex is like the disadvantage of Bristol is the lack of amenities. And our kids look and they see those other places, and we need more of those in Bristol, more reasons for kids to stay. Kelly Bourgeois, the city manager, she said something that really stuck with me. And she said, if we don't keep, if cities like Bristol, if we don't keep our own kids here, then we have to recruit someone else's kid.
That's right.
For there to be a future, we have to first keep our kids here and give them a reason to stay. And that's really stuck because there's so much truth to that.
Well, it's just like I was talking about the customers. The easiest ones to sell or to keep here in this situation are the ones that already live here.
Yeah.
You're going to spend a lot more money on economic development trying to bring new people here than you are if you can just provide those amenities for people that want to stay.
Yeah.
And then when people come in and look, and they see those amenities, then they want to move their family here.
Yeah.
I just talked to a couple, I guess 2 weeks ago downtown. I'm sitting out Southern Churn, having a few turtles there and RC Cola sitting on the front porch.
Yeah.
And,
watching people try to parallel park on State Street. That's entertaining.
It's entertaining at its best. And so a couple's there and they're walking around talking or what have you, and they got an ice cream. And I said, well, you're welcome to sit here. And so they sit down and we started talking, and they were like, well, what do you do here? And I said, well, we own a few businesses, and we really love downtown, and just kind of left it at that. And they're like, well, we love this place. We visit here every 3 to 4 weeks. We come visit, and we've made the decision that we're going to move here next year. Wow. And I said, well, why do you want to? I said, so just curious, why do you want to move to Bristol? And they're like, we just love this town. They're like, we love coming downtown. We love the races. We love to go to races, and we don't even go to a lot of the races, they said, but just all the action, entertainment that goes on. It's so fun just to be here, and I do think they probably like the slot machines a little bit. So that kind of little, I asked them. I said, "So are you fans of Hard Rock?" Well, yeah, but we don't go often because we get carried away. But we sure do love going when we can. So I think that's a great draw for us as well. They have some good music over there and good events.
Bringing some real talent.
And just look at the Speedway. I mean, look what the Speedway's done with the baseball game and, even the UTVT game back when it was there, and having Country Thunder. Yeah. As they continue to grow events inside their venue, that's just going to help all of Bristol as well. So Jerry and those guys deserve a lot of credit for the work they do.
A lot of credit. So many assets, man. It's like, we have to connect the dots. Like when somebody comes to the Speedway, I think Bristol has to do a better job of getting them from the Speedway to downtown. When they come to that car show, how do you connect them with going to the lake to go fly fishing? Like, it's like people come for certain reasons, and it's then the challenge is how do you cross pollinate, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think there is absolutely that is a hole that we probably need to fill. Is how do we cross pollinate when people come here for one thing to help them understand and introduce them to other things? I think it's an opportunity for us.
Yeah,
significant opportunity.
Yeah, keeping them here for 3 days rather than just a 1 day event. But we've got so many great things. Transportation is tricky, but I know the city is working on a lot of that. So I'm glad to hear that Allen Hurley is bullish about downtown, and more importantly, that you're going to be involved.
We are.
That'll make a difference.
We're back. We're back.
All right.
And we're looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for all you've invested in Bristol, and thanks for being here today, sharing so much time with me. I feel like I've had a master class in entrepreneurial.
You're too kind. You've got it figured out pretty well. And, you do a great job, and what you've done here at the Sportsplex, incredible. And listen, if you don't know the food here, it's absolutely great. Just had lunch, and without a shadow of a doubt, wasn't expecting anything like that kind of menu. And I'm like, wow, that is so good.
Yeah,
it was truly great.
Well, I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, thanks again for being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me.